It's time for some damn good tacos in college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchys Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchys is the place. Torchys' location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchys has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchys has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs.
And everybody, welcome to the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk. I'm Jason Pattison, and good evening, Razorback fans. It is Wednesday, March 19th and 2025. And thank you for all joining us this evening. I want to say a big special thank you to the teams at Rogers and Fayetteville Torchys Tacos locations with their hospitality they show us each and every week. You can always follow along with us and always click and like and subscribe to Hogville YouTube channel, where you can watch all past shows from Otis, Dudley, Kevin, and Marshall. Special thank you to Carbless Cocktails, which you can find in any of their 9 different flavors that Carbless has to offer exclusively over at Torchys. And they are 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and 100 calories. They offer 8 different vodka flavors. They have that tequila margarita. Also, they have a spring pack that is coming out very, very soon. It's got blood orange, watermelon, raspberry, a couple of different new flavors that they're going to roll out. Also, be sure to stop by either of the 2 Torchys locations here in Rogers or Fayetteville, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. Try that scallywag taco. It's got shrimp that is crusted with a little bit of Captain Crunch and some coconut, which is really, really good, with some peach habanero sauce and some red slaw. I had it. It's really, really good. So make sure to try that or any of their other tacos that they have on the menu. Pair that with their queso that is made in-house fresh daily, and open up your taste buds to a whole new world. All right, let's bring him on. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Otis Kirk. Otis, how's it going, my guy?
Hey, man, it's going good.
Hey, if I told you that you could get free queso, chips, and a free taco at Torchys, would you go over there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mention Hogville at the register at Torchys locations in Rogers and Fayetteville. Get yourself a free taco. Sign up for the Torchys rewards. Get yourself a free queso and chips. So make sure to jump over there. If you're in town for baseball, softball, hell, track anything that's going on right now. If you jump over to Torchys and mention Hogville, you will get yourself a free taco. So make sure to go over there and get you one. Man.
Get the Trailer Park Taco. I go over
Yep.
tonight and get a free one, man. It's so cold, but I'd still go.
I don't blame you. We had some sleet and a little bit of snowflakes here in Rogers a little bit ago.
That wind's killing me, man.
It's awful.
When it's 0 and there's no wind, I'm fine. But man,
Mhm.
that wind, I don't care what the temperature
Yeah.
is. When that wind's blowing like that, it's brutal,
Forget
man. It just cuts through me.
I'm sure you're probably glad that they were able to get practice wrapped up a little bit early before all this weather started to come in.
Yeah, they're gonna practice tomorrow though, man. So
They
I
are.
mean, it's outside, so in the stadium. So yeah,
Ooh. And that's going to be their last practice until
Yeah.
April 1st, if I'm not mistaken.
it's warm every day, just about, except when they practice, man. Well, today wasn't, but most days it's just extremely warm, and then they practice. It gets cold. Saturday was cold. The wind was cold.
We didn't get a chance to discuss it last week. Alyssa Orange, she was our special guest with Luther Franklin. Also, quick plug, part 2 of the Hogville Heroes series, Razorbacks of the 80s, will premiere tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. exclusively on our YouTube channels, and also will be you can get that link through either YouTube, any of our social media platforms, or on hogville.net, and then that'll direct you over to the link. Opened it last week, and I hadn't get a chance to really talk to you about this too with the passing of Oliver Miller. There were some great stories last week. I didn't know if you had any that you'd want to share real quick.
Not really. I wasn't up here when he played. I mean, I knew him, and well, I say I know him. I knew who he was, and I covered the Hogs from Mina then, but I didn't really never get to come up here then much. Well, I come up here, but I mean, I wasn't like I was over there at practice like I am now and stuff.
Gotcha.
And talk to the players. So I mean, the biggest story I have on him though, and we'll say it, I never will forget, they were playing LSU. I think it was in Baton Rouge. Maybe it was in Fayetteville, but I believe it was in Baton Rouge. Listeners will know.
Yeah.
I think it was in Baton Rouge. They were playing LSU, and they had Shaquille O'Neal. And Oliver Miller was standing out there shooting from the outside and pulled Shaq away from the basket. And Arkansas won that game, if I remember right, Jason.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. Big O could shoot from the outside, and finally Shaq had to come out there and honor that. And when he did, then Arkansas could get to the basket, without Shaq down there. But, yeah, he neutralized Shaquille O'Neal. And I'll tell you what, that's about – you know me, I'm a Lakers fan. And when I say he neutralized Shaquille O'Neal, that's about as good a compliment as I can pay the man, because he did. He neutralized him and maybe took it to him, I could say. Maybe more than neutralized. He took it to Shaq. And that's my biggest memory of all Big O was just the way he did that. He was so versatile, and he looked like he couldn't move. I know he went to I believe Phoenix Suns drafted him, if I'm not mistaken. And
I think, he was drafted by, I do believe.
Miller, Day and Mayberry went to the Milwaukee Bucks, but he went to the Suns, if I remember right. I may be wrong on that. But I believe that game was in Baton Rouge. I never will forget that, because he could shoot from the outside, and he got Shaq away from the basket, and he really at least neutralized him. I think he kind of took it to him a little bit. But that's amazing, because, I mean, to neutralize Shaquille O'Neal, one of the best big men to ever play, I don't think he's the best big man to ever play. I think he's one of the best, but I don't think he's the best. But even for the Lakers, but Shaquille was a very good player.
Yep, and Oliver actually he was drafted by the Suns in the 92 round. He was 92 draft. He was a first round selection, number 22.
Yeah, I knew his first round. I thought it was the Phoenix, if I remember right. Like I said, I remember Mayberry and Day. I think, if I remember right, they went back to back and they got drafted. But I may be mixing things up. I probably should keep my mouth shut. But you asked me about Oliver Miller, but yeah, him taking the fight to Shaquille O'Neal down there against LSU. That's my biggest memory of him. I don't like I said. I mean, we know the players now, and stuff, and. I sat there and talked to Corey Robinson 5 minutes before we went on the air yesterday, I met Corey and his dad when he was a recruit, and, and of course, Caleb. And so I've gotten inside with the players now, more so football than basketball, because I don't try to step on Kevin's toes with basketball, although I do cover it for the papers. But, so I'm not really stepping on his toes. But like I said, I don't know the recruits like I do in football. I know just about every one of the football recruits that comes on. I've had dealings with before he ever gets here. Not all of them. I'd say 99% of them.
Well, let's talk about football. I mean, that seems to be one of the hot topics right now. What have you seen so far outside of day one? I know that day one was it was some good competition, but I feel like that it was more shaking some rust off.
Yeah, they're in the pads now, though. That's a lot different.
What have you noticed that might be different than what people saw last fall?
Well, they're doing a lot of similar things. I tell you one thing, I'm really impressed with Taylor Green. He's lost weight but gotten bigger, if that makes any sense. But I tell you what, the backups, and this is to be expected. This is not a knock on them or not a shot at them at all. But they're really looking inconsistent right now. But they're all young. You know, KJ got a little bit of action when you and I and Kevin and maybe it was all of us. Or Jerry, we were down in John. We were down there at Little Rock at War Memorial when they played UAPB.
Jim was there too, yeah.
And we saw KJ a little bit there at the end. I don't think he played after that. And then, of course, Garrison Wilson and Madden haven't played at all in college. I'm talking about. And Blake Boda hasn't played at Arkansas. So all the backups are really inexperienced or inconsistent. There's a gap between. A huge gap. See, last year I didn't think there was. Well, it's different. Last year I didn't think between Talon and then the other kid that went to Purdue, Malachi. I didn't think there was this bigger gap. Talon went down Tennessee. Malachi comes in there and they won the game. I felt like Malachi could step in and they wouldn't be as good, but they wouldn't lose much.
They really had two
this year,
quarterbacks.
If Talon gets hurt, it's trouble right now. That don't mean September 1st, or September, it'll be the same situation, Jason, because there's still time for those kids to improve. And under Bobby Petrino, they will improve. But I'm just saying there's a bigger gap between first and second quarterback than there was last year. I like the offensive line. I love Corey Robinson. I like Fernando inside. Kittler is a good one to pick up. I like, Keyshawn and Kobe at Branham at the guards, Marion Harris, Shaq at the tackle. There's other players involved, Broussard and those guys. But I'm just saying, I feel like they're pretty deep there on the offensive line. Receivers, I don't know if anybody's really just kind of Cam Shanks and, has stepped up. He looks really good. But the defense is okay. I really love Caleb Wooden. I'll tell you what, when you talk about Cam Ball, who's out this spring, but we know what to do. When you talk about Cam Ball, Xavier Sorey, Stephen Dix, I think you've got to include Caleb Wooden in that conversation, Jason. He's that good.
Larry Worth.
He's very good. And I like Quincy Rhodes Jr. I'm a big Charlie Collins fan. I think they're okay at the end. David Oakey hasn't practiced yet, unless he practiced the last one. I know he's going to be out for. Well, I guess I'm not supposed to talk about injuries. I'm sorry. I'll get Kyle on my butt. So let me stop that. Sorry, it's hard to. I'm not supposed to talk injuries. So
I know, it's hard to whenever you go through the list and stuff of who's
Sam said that David was going to be out, so I don't think that counts. I mean, I think they're talking about.
He announced that on his initial presser before practice had started.
Sam mentioned that, so I don't think that's against Kyle's rules. I don't want to go against his rules. I respect him and appreciate the access, But I think he was talking about new injuries, and I'm not going to discuss that, but I really haven't seen that many. I think that's a good thing. They've been pretty healthy over there, But just I think Oakey, when he gets healthy and really gets after, I think he might be next to Cam Ball. Now they're going to sign one or two more defensive tackles. It may be somebody that beats out Oakey, when it goes. But or one of these other guys like Saley or Ian, they're in there too. It's not necessarily David Oakey's job.
I want to
saying that I really feel like Caleb Wooden is in that discussion when you talk about the elite players on defense. I think he's in that discussion, Jason.
Yeah, I want to talk about this too for just a second because you had mentioned the offensive line. So we're talking about a starting left tackle that essentially has had to move inside. Now I know that Sam's talked about it, and the reason why he's moving inside because it's more towards the draft future. But now he's this offensive line is stacked to a point where now you've got enough tackles and guards that you're having to move Carmona into center now.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah. And you got a guy, Corey Robinson, who has not allowed a sack since 2022. I don't know if people realize that or not. I'm telling you guys, Corey Robinson has a chance to be all SEC. He's that good. I'll tell you a guy I like, and it really impressed me. And we haven't heard his name mentioned. I'm going to ask Sam tomorrow about him. But Keyshawn Davila, cornerback, junior, number one JUCO kid in America. But he and Kenai Walker, really impressed me. I like Kenai. But I love Keyshawn Davila. I like the kid from Eastern Michigan, Quintavious Scandrick, a big kid, 6'2", 200, something like that. Big safety. I like him. Larry Worth, and has been alternating some between the nickel hog and safety with Caleb. If it was me, I'd put Worth at the hog and leave Caleb, wouldn't it?
Yeah, with Larry's range and his length, I think that he could really do some damage on that inside 7.
Yeah, I do. I'd put him there. I'd leave Caleb Wooden at free safety. He's more comfortable there. That's why he played at Auburn. And I'm telling you, Caleb Wooden's an elite safety. And I may be eating my words come fall, but I think Caleb Wooden is really good. He started at Auburn. So, I love that kid. I think he's really good. He and Corey Robinson yesterday, and that's two really impressive talking kids. I tell you, Kenai Walker and the kid from Stanford, Sissy, those are very good talkers, man. I mean, we haven't had Walker and Sissy in there yet in the press room, but I'm just telling you, those two can talk just like those two yesterday. Very sharp kids. You would expect that from a kid from Stanford. You can like or dislike the West Coast of Stanford, but I'm just telling you, kids are smart that go there. They're smart. They turn out smart athletes. And so,
one of the things that I noticed too is Selman Bridges' length on the corner. Now, I understand that they have him listed at 6'2". There is no way in God's creation he is 6'2". He is every bit of 6'4".
I listed him at 6'4" in high school, and I don't think he shrunk 2 inches. He's a big kid. But he and Kenai Walker, listen, he doesn't have the weight that Kenai had, but he and Kenai Walker are two of the tallest cornerbacks you'll see in college football. Yeah. I'm just telling you, Selman Bridges and Kenai Walker, and they've got Kenai at 6'2", 204. And I'm trying to remember what he told me he was. Maybe it was 6'2".
I was going to say 6'3.5 at least.
Let me see what I put in my recruiting book when he came over, because I thought he told me he was a little bit taller. I mean, we walked in. Well, listen, when I walked up to him and saw him, I thought he was a linebacker. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought he was a linebacker.
Yeah, same here. Well, that's the thing too. You put Selman Bridges up against right beside Larry Worth. Larry Worth is every bit of 6'4", and Selman is just as tall as Larry Worth is. And, that's one of the things that like you, for instance, you and I and Grant Hall were talking about, where they have kids listed at a certain height, like for instance, with Taylon Green as well. Taylon is taller than 6'6". He looks more like Matt Jones did on the football field. Matt Jones is damn near 6'8".
No, I had Kenai Walker at 6'2", 205, Jason. So he was 6'2". Okay. So that's what they had him at. But I had 205. They gave me 204. I mean, biscuit or a hamburger away from being 205. But I had him close to what they've got him at. I thought I had him taller than 6'2", but I didn't. But Ishmael Sissy is a kid from Stanford that's really good. Cam Shanks and the receiver came over from Raylan Sharp that came over from Fresno State, really Southwest Missouri State, from Missouri. He's good. Those two look good. They're not big, but they're really good. He and Chase can return punts too. But first team All-American punt returner.
And what I noticed too is that a lot of guys, and I'm going to rephrase that, the slot receivers that were coming across the middle, they weren't dropping balls. I don't know if that's continued or not, but at least for the first day, whenever I was out and saw it, you had a lot of crossing routes that were not getting dropped, and that to me was a great sign.
They haven't been many drops. They hadn't been dropping that many passes. I thought Courtney dropped one day, but he made a good catch or two away. I'll tell you, Wooden's had an interception about every day I've been over there. He ain't got Taylor. He got KJ Saturday at the scrimmage. He got KJ Jackson Saturday. Taylor did throw one Saturday, but it wasn't the one Caleb got. I think.
See, and, with the story that I wrote last week regarding what the difference with the quarterbacks and wide receivers and tight ends, what I mentioned at quarterback was that it's not a battle for number one; it's a battle for number two.
Oh yeah,
and you put Taylor Green up against Madden Imaleva. There is such a disparity of difference on size. You can just tell that Madden's a freshman. He's got a year or two of work on that body to get that really beefed up the way that Taylor looks. People are going to be really surprised on what Taylor looks like just because he's changed his body already.
Yeah, he's lost weight, but he's bigger. And that doesn't make any sense, but that's true. I mean, but he looks really good. I'll tell you somebody that looks good and has been good is Rohan Jones.
Yeah.
Tight end. That kid's going to be good, Jason. And I'll tell you what, Platt from A&M and Garrett Garrison from California, freshman tight end. Yeah. Those are two kids that look the part of tight ends. I mean, you look out there in that huddle, you see Rohan Jones, you see others, but you see those two kids, Platt and Garrison, they tower over everybody. Those are what tight ends are supposed to look like. Yeah. They're bigger than the kid from Eastern Michigan that Andreas Posky or
Andreas.
They're bigger than him. And we thought he was big last year compared to Luke and everybody else, but they're a little bit bigger than him. Those are two kids that flat look the part. Now Rohan looks more like a Luke tight end, that size Luke has, but he's like Luke. He can catch football, man. And Rohan's going to be really, really good at that position for Arkansas.
Yep. I got Michael Kepsky on here real quick. He says, "What's up, guys? Hogs need an elite pass rusher and another big DT. Maybe another tight end. I think they're sewn up at tight end, but the other two, I think that's something they are looking for.
They're okay at tight end. They're not going to sign another one. They've got and the kid from junior college All America that they signed.
I think they got 4 or 5 out of this, if I'm not mistaken. Out of 4 tight ends.
Junior college kid's also good. He's caught everything. He drops nothing. But no, they've got 4 or 5 tight ends. So, but pass rusher, yeah. I mean, one thing, you can never get too many elite pass rushers. And
5 and still
tackle, they do need another one. Probably maybe 2. They need.
I was going to say 2, yeah.
But they've got to shore up that position for depth wise. But and then, like I said, if you get elite pass rusher, it doesn't matter. I feel good about Quincy Rhodes and Charlie Collins. But if you can get an elite one, you got to get him. I don't know if there'll be an elite one in this next portal opening, but if there is and you can get him, you got to take him.
Yep. Michael also says Damian Williams went from UGA went to Mizzou. Why? We got sorry.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm not sure.
Damian Williams, I don't remember Arkansas recruiting him, to be honest with you. I'm not saying they didn't, but they didn't get a visit. I know that. Arkansas did not get a visit. And, they've had mixed results with the kids from Georgia. Sorey played great. The cornerback, it's been hit and miss. The cornerback they've got on the team, he's been inconsistent. So, Caleb Wooden will be the free safety, I would say. The strong safety, maybe Quintavious Scandrick, and maybe Larry Worth at the hog position would be my guess right now.
Yeah,
I feel good about Worth and Wooden. I feel good about those two.
Yeah,
I would put Scandrick in there right now. At the other one, trying to think who else they've got running down there at that position. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who else they've got there.
Yeah, because I mean, really, honestly, I really feel like that this defense is going to be able to put 3 safeties on the field like they did the last 4 games of the season.
Yeah.
With Larry Worth playing hog, I feel like he's going to be playing a position where it's going to be run fill. On top of that, I feel like there's going to be certain situations where he's going to play up front 7 on short yardage, for instance, like 3rd and 3, something like that, or maybe even a 1st and 10. But on passing downs, like a 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8, he's going to be more of a 3 safety deep look. I see that be more so than not.
I know who else. I knew I was leaving Miguel Mitchell and Scandrick are fighting it out. Scandrick 6'3", 201. But Miguel Mitchell's the other kid that's battling with Scandrick there at strong safety.
And he had a great season last year too.
Yeah, you got Worth, Miguel Mitchell, Scandrick, and Caleb Wooden back there. Those four can all play. To answer your question, but that's who I would say right now are the top four back there for three spots. I do think Caleb will be the free safety. I'm high on him. Maybe it's unjustified. I don't know. But, I mean, I'm really high on Caleb Wooden. I just think he's the best one of the group. I know Larry's good. Miguel's got experience. But I'll tell you a kid they put back there, a freshman that's impressed me. He came as a linebacker. He was the defensive player of the year in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Metroplex. J.J. Shelton, a smaller linebacker. He's playing back there at safety, Jason. And he picked off, I believe it was Madden he got. If it wasn't, it was Talon Saturday. I believe it was Madden, but he may have gotten Talon. He got an interception Saturday. It don't matter who it was. But, he got Madden. He picked off Madden. The kid from Texas County, Akari Johnson, I think how you pronounce his name. Yeah. He's the one that got Talon. And then I've already said that Caleb got KJ. Those three got interceptions at scrimmage Saturday. Those are four guys for three spots, and they'll be okay if those guys play. They've got other guys back there, but those right now, I tell you though, J.J. Shelton, he's got a chance to play a little safety back there. He was an undersized linebacker. He's like 6'1", 200, 6 foot, 200.
Yeah,
that's good size for a safety. Not good size for a linebacker, but.
You really got three linebackers tops. I know that Sam talked about it at the first press conference that they're really heavy offense. I counted it last. I think they've got on the hill right now. I think they're at 17 on wide receiver. I think that might be something that they might look at and trim down and revitalize the defensive side.
Moved Bryce Stevens over to defensive back. That took one of them. They moved him over to DB. I don't know if he'll play there, but they did move him over. I agree with you. I think there's some wide receivers that probably be hit the portal because they're going to need some scholarships to open up here in the spring. And I think there'll be at least two or three of those receivers that they may be somebody they don't ask to leave, but I do think two or three could hit the portal, and I think they may be asked to leave.
Because I was looking at numbers wise, Otis, and I think total from the offensive side that they probably would need to balance out with the defensive side. I think that number is right between 6 and 7. I think that if they got 2 defensive tackles, at least 1 or 2 defensive ends, that's 4. Maybe another linebacker, that's 5. I mean, at that point,
I don't know though that they'll sign a linebacker because they didn't sign any. That's the one position they did not sign anybody so far, but they could. Defensive ends, they signed 2. Going into this thing, Deke wanted 2 ends and 2 tackles. He got 2 ends and 1 tackle, but they may take 2 tackles. I think they feel good about Quincy Rhodes and Charlie Collins, though. I think Michael, I guess, was it Michael or whoever the poster was? I think if they found an elite pass rusher, obviously they're going to take him. They're not going to turn down elite, period. I mean, when you say elite, it don't matter pass rusher or what. They're not going to turn him down. They can't. They're not so good that they can turn down the elite player. Now, will there be one available that they can get? I don't know that. But I know they feel pretty good about where they're at the end. But it is tackle that they feel. And in the secondary, they just need more numbers back there. And, but I think at corner – between Jaheim Singletary, Keyshawn Davila, Kenai Walker, the kid you mentioned a while ago,
Selman Bridges, Miguel Mitchell.
There's some more. There's all kinds of guys back there that are playing. Jaden Allen's back, from Aledo. So I think they're okay at corner, but I mean, not that they couldn't use another one, but I think even if they don't get another one, I think they're going to be okay there. But you can always use more, and if nothing else, if you could get again, if you get an elite cover guy, you take him in a heartbeat. But if they don't, I think they'll be okay. Their safety, they're going to be okay, but they could use another one or two. I feel good about 4 of those kids they've got back there right now. I told you that I like back there. I feel good about 4 of those. But, you need 5 or 6 back there.
You really do, because the way that I think that this defense is going to run this start of the season is going to mirror what, like we were talking about the last 4 games of the season, where they were running a 3 high safety that dropped down. I know that Sam talked about having a hog, but really you could make that third safety a hog instead and have Larry Worth with his size, and also maybe a Miguel Mitchell, for instance, that can really crash whenever you've got a run situation. The two positions on the team that they would not take somebody that might be elite would either be quarterback or offensive line, because I think with those 2 areas, you really don't have any room to put anybody else in there at this point.
The only way they would take an elite quarterback is, and they're not going to, but I mean, if there was a freshman or sophomore, maybe, or somebody just that was great and just absolutely wanted to be a Razorback, that they might have to take him from the portal. But, you got Madden and Grayson already in that newcomers. I don't think they want 3, because that's just asking for people to hit the portal. Man,
that's asking for a mutiny, because you got 10 days to be able to sit there and sew that thing up, because
and you've got, I think Bobby feels good about where he's at quarterback. I mean, I think there's a gap right now. There's a big gap. I know there's a big gap between Taylor and what else they've got at quarterback right now. But as I said, they've had 5 practices. They got 10 more this spring, 1 tomorrow, be 9 after spring break, counting the game. And then they've got preseason. So you've got plenty of time for Bobby to get the backup quarterback in order. And he will. Yeah. The guy's too good a coach not to. He's a genius, and so I mean, he'll get them in order. They'll be fine there.
And last week I wrote about it. I said the race is not for number 1; it's for number 2.
Oh, definitely.
That's going to be the biggest story, I think, going into fall camp.
Probably KJ and Madden fighting it out for number 2. I think Grayson and Blake Boda are a little bit behind them, right or wrong. I just think that's what I'm seeing in practice. I see KJ taking the snaps with 2. Boda was taking a 3rd team, but that was more seniority, early on than anything else. But Saturday at the scrimmage, Madden was taking those 3rd team reps. Now, Boda and Grayson took some reps, but mostly Madden with the 3rd team. He ended up, I think he may have taken a 2nd team or 2 along the way, but Taylor's number 1. And I'm telling you, I like Taylor. I know some people got down on him, but I think you might as well like him, because he's going to be the quarterback.
Yeah, and he understands what's ahead of him too. Really, he understands that he can't have the plays that he had last year that made fans go crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, it made him go crazy, made Bobby go crazy, made Sam go crazy. He understands
that. He carried the ball like a loaf of bread. He did that.
And he understood too. Yeah,
he freaked out at the press conference though, because he saw me in my Lakers shirt on. He's a big Dallas Mavericks fan. He went crazy, man, over the Lakers getting Luka. Oh, he freaked out. I told him, I said, man, there's still hope for you, man. I got a cap I can bring to practice and give to you. But we had some fun with that. But he freaked out, man. He's a big Luka fan, and hey, you can be a Luka fan and be with the Lakers. You don't have to be a Mavericks fan.
Yeah. One of the things, really quick before we jump out of here, one of the things that I noticed whenever you saw KJ Jackson throw and then Madden throw as well, Madden's ball is a little feathery, it's a little light. He's able to lay it out there a little bit longer, but KJ's is a very heavy ball, very kind of a nose down type of throw. That is such a huge difference in how receivers have to adjust to catch those balls, and not more of a defense than other than kind of laying out for them. I feel like that is going to be the difference on how the receivers are able to kind of react to those balls, because even at the 20 to 25 yard mark, KJ's balls are still a little heavy, where whenever you have Madden throw them, there's some air under him. He's giving those receivers a chance, and I think that might be a difference when going into fall camp of the perception who might be number 2 versus who is going to be number 2.
Yeah, let me say this too. I forgot Jordan Young. He's out this spring. They're not going to practice. He's a senior from Cincinnati. Now, he's capable of playing anywhere in that secondary. He played corner at Cincinnati, but he told me he's willing to play anywhere. And I think he can be the safety, a hog, or corner. So Jordan Young is somebody we won't hear about this spring, but keep in mind this fall. There's another defensive back. I forgot about Jordan. I just have to look at the roster and see his name. Can't forget him because he will play, and he'll play a lot, but he may even start. But he's out this spring. Sam mentioned that, so I think it's okay for me to say that. But but he's a good one, and he will help Arkansas. And he will, if he doesn't start, he'll be in the rotation. I forgot about him. Yep. I ain't penciled in at the hog, but I mean, he could play savior. I ain't penciled in at the hog, but he may be behind Worth at that time, and may not. But he's not as good as Caleb Wooden, I don't think, though.
Yeah. Well, Otis, let's get you out of here. I know that you got first four going on with the NCAA tournament. Texas is going to be playing Xavier here in a little bit. A little bit of a history lesson here. Xavier was if I'm not mistaken, they beat Texas the last time that the two faced in the NCAA tournament here a couple of years ago and had knocked Texas out. So I think Texas might be looking to repay the favor. And you got Tremont Mark that's playing for Texas too. That's going to be playing tonight.
Xavier plays Texas?
Yes.
Go Xavier.
Any day to say down with the horns.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, Arkansas tomorrow night at 6:10 Central against Kansas. Kevin's going to have you covered with everything that you need to know. Also, with the new signee that John Calipari just announced this afternoon, Kevin's going to get you all covered with that too. I think it's kind of interesting to have Arkansas and Kansas playing each other kind of full circle, really, because you have the exhibition that was back last October, and now they're taking on each other again. Hunter Dickinson's going to be available. I think that the difference for Arkansas is going to be that how is Boogie Flan going to fit into this offense? I know Kevin's going to talk more about that too. And I know that Adouthero it was announced that he's not going to be available for the game against Kansas. So he's going to, so Boogie might have 10, 15 minutes like they talked about, and we'll see what he can do.
Well, it'll be interesting because I think you'll see Arkansas get after it pretty good. And I think they'll beat Kansas. I could be wrong, but I do think they'll beat Kansas. How far they'll go after that, I don't know. May not win another game, but I do think they'll beat Kansas. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't know.
I would love to see Calipari beat Patino and St. John's.
Yeah, I would too. I don't know that they will, but they've got to get by Kansas first.
Yep.
But I don't think it's impossible for Arkansas to beat St. John. Arkansas's playing well. I mean, heck, they nearly beat Ole Miss on the third day of a back-to-back, and I mean, with 6 players basically, because, Z was hurt then, and now they had 6 players, and now they'll have 8. So, they'll be better shape this time. And we'll be back-to-back.
Well, for Otis, myself, Jason, I want to thank you guys for jumping on with us this evening a little early since we're not doing it Thursday because Arkansas is going to be playing. And that was all Otis because he had pointed that out to me. He's like, "Hey man, there ain't gonna be nobody watching this."
He messaged me saying we're gonna do the show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And I said, "You gotta be kidding me, man! Who the hell's gonna watch us when you watch the Hogs play basketball?"
There ain't nobody was gonna watch us. We got 95 people watching right now. There and we're right at 100. So this was a good move on your part too for making sure I was aware of that. I appreciate that too, man.
We wouldn't have had 100 tomorrow night, I can assure you.
Maybe 10.
Yeah, I doubt it. Why would anybody watch when you can watch the Hogs on TV, man, or whatever? But yeah, no, I knew Jason just forgot. I mean, heck, I do that all the time. So I just was joking with him. But yeah,
see, man, that's why I love working with you.
He did scare me though, because I'm thinking, oh no, is this something we got to do? Because I don't want to do it. I'm gonna call in sick, man. I'm gonna be
shit.
Sick
we can't do this. We can't do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sick tomorrow night. I'm gonna say, dear teacher, I'll bring you an apple Friday, but I ain't going to be there tomorrow night.
Well, you all take care, and we will see you guys next Thursday. Also, Dudley and I will have the Arkansas Diamond Report at 10:30 on Friday morning. Arkansas got a huge 12-run, do you believe it was 4th inning to win 16-0?
16-0. They got 12 runs in 1 inning, man. That's unusual. I covered that game today. And Lloyd was good. Man,
Nolan Souza finally got off the snide too. I was loving to see that.
It's the longest home run of the season.
448 feet,
I believe it was. longest one of the season. Yeah, they score. Dave talked about that after the game, about it's very unusual to score 12 runs in an inning, man. That just doesn't happen, and it did today.
And it was sparked by that Souza home run.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something. ORU only have one hit in the game.
Yeah.
4 pitchers for Arkansas allowed one hit, and they only walked one hitter.
And Colin Fisher looked great too.
They hit one. One got on an error on Brent Iredale. They had a guy get on an error. They had a guy get hit, a walk, and one single, and that was in the bottom of the 5th or 6th. I mean, the top of the 6th, I believe it was the single. Wasn't the bottom, it's top. I think it's top of the 6th. It was their 9-hole hitter got a single, man, of all people.
You know, and I want to say this really quick before we get off here, because it was something that I'd noticed. Brett Iredale got hit back-to-back times today. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the 9th time he has been hit this season. God, bad luck.
He's a magnet for that ball, man.
At least he wasn't catching. Huh?
I said he's a magnet, but ball magnet. They hit him, but he gets on base, and he can make things happen too with the bat, man. He's good. The two Lloyd brothers and Davalon and Logan Maxwell are all studs, man. I mean, those 5 guys are studs. They got good outfielders.
I'm just glad that Iredale's not catching
I said Davalon and Maxwell are really good outfielders and hitters too.
I'm just glad that Iredale's not catching pitches like Coach did from Cheers off the noggin.
Man, I will see you later.
Yep. Y'all take care and go Hogs.
Y'all, it's time for some damn good tacos in college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchys Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchys is the place. Torchys' location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchys has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchys has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs.